Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the First Second Podcast, number 9. This is one of your hosts for tonight, Larsh, the casual MechWarrior, followed with only 2 others today. We got a short crew tonight. First up, we got Old Bob 10025.
Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing tonight?
That's your cue.
Hey.
And Team Red Shirts.
What's up, Larsh? How you doing?
Not much. I think we may have lost Old Bob to the
insomnia.
Dude, I'm so tired.
Well, it seems like we cannot begin any podcast and just have a good start. Seems like we always have a rough one. So, Bob. Okay, so we're not lying. Bob was legit just here about 5 minutes ago. We were talking about how tired we were. I think Bob is either AFK or he may have passed out from the only 2 hours of sleep that he got for the past 2 days. We really can't say. I'm in the same kind of boat. I'm also kind of tired, so we're going to try to keep things together the best we can.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, Bob, we cannot hear you.
No, Bob, we cannot hear you. He's actually speaking in Discord, speaking in text tongue.
Test.
He's muted, unmuted.
Bob. No, Bob, we can't hear you. You were just on.
This is the technical difficulties portion of our podcast.
Yes, this is our prime testing portion of the podcast. Rolling right along through.
Hello.
Oh, man, Bob.
That's okay.
Well, Bob, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue on? Or should we just kind of roll with it? Go on, okay. Well, just to roll right into it, I think the first thing we really had is a little bit of news broadcast. I think the big thing that happened in MWO was the new mech that they announced. The fantastic Piranha. People have been vying for this thing for a while now. PGI finally gave us this dang thing.
I'm excited, I gotta say. I'm not a big clan pilot, but I'm happy for anytime we can get a nice little zippy light mech. I'm a little worried about the number of machine guns, but we'll figure it out.
This is packing a total of 12 on the... Which variant is that? It's like the first one, the Piranha 1. Oh, it's actually easy. 1, 2, 3, and A, B, and Cypher. Ooh, I did not check out that name last time. Cypher, I like that. Yeah, but this thing's going to be boating so many machine guns, so many ballistics come January. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of the theme these days with the hero mechs that came out for clans. I mean, everything's got a gazillion machine guns on it.
You guys
we'll get to it a little bit later, but watching the machine gun Arctic Cheetah has been a big part of the World Championship so far.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. And also to our one viewer that said I was peeking out, I turned it down a little bit, so let me know if it sounds any better, because I did change a lot of my stream settings, so this is a completely test broadcast of my new NVIC audio settings as well. So please let me know throughout the stream if I'm too loud or too quiet, and I can tweak on the fly. But yeah. Perfect. But ever since they had that machine gun Mislinks and then machine gun Cheetah, then they had to bring out. And this thing is a clan mech, right? This is a clan, not a. It's not a sphere. Yeah. So.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Do we have? I mean, this is why I wish Bob was back on here, because he's more the lore guru, and I kind of wanted to ask him if there is any inner sphere mechs that have this many ballistics or like this many machine guns, you know?
Not in that weight class. I don't think. I'd have to go look through
1, 2, 3.
Sarna to be sure, but I'd be shocked if there was something that had that level. Yeah,
that's insane. All right. Also, guys, thank you for keeping up with me on the audio. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit here. There we go. I'm now at like negative 8.2 decibels. There we go. All right. Yeah, so this thing's going to be a beast. I know I have not purchased this mech yet. I don't know if I'm going to purchase it. I might just do it just for the channel, because people are going to want to see me in this thing for the channel.
Yeah, probably.
But probably. But I think probably what I'm gonna do, and a few of my people, the guys in my Discord, especially Biter, who couldn't be here today, we're bringing in streak boats when this thing drops.
Fair. I think that's probably a good. I have so much trouble with streaks, though. I don't know if it's because of my experiences in the beta with the streak catapults that just melted your face if you saw them and it felt really bad. But I tend not to. I don't have
just yet. They usually do that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Oh yeah! Woo.
Oh Jesus!
Sorry.
Okay. And people in chat, people in chat are saying I'm breaking the sound barrier.
Did I just break it?
So that's right. So Bob, we were just discussing the Piranha. So I actually wanted to ask you, and Team Redshirt here had a few things of input. Since you're like the lore guru, do you have any opinions on any inner sphere mechs that have this many ballistic hardpoints?
Well, the only one I think of is just the Arrow has 6, and then the Jaeger mech has 6. As far as this having 12 and all that stuff, I think this is like the only one that I know of. But of course, the Piranha came out a little bit after what I was playing the board game for, and stopped actually playing the game. But I mean, the Piranha is actually a pretty cool mech. It's going to be incredible to go and see this on the battlefield. I mean, already Theorycraft with everybody's been, we've been talking in Discord about it, and it's going to be wicked.
Yeah, it's going to be disgusting when this thing drops.
But I mean, I don't know why they didn't pop this one out though. Piranha should have popped this up a long time ago, but it's coming out in January, and it's like, I mean, this should have been like one of the first mechs they popped out or done. Yeah,
because PGI Piranha Games should have caught on already.
Yeah, it would make sense, but I stopped asking them to make sense. I just want them to keep putting the game out.
Just want to make sense. If I had the old Bob mech, I'll want that thing to be first on the assembly line.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely,
exactly. But that's just my own opinion about it. But I mean, the Theorycraft we've been thinking of was like 12 light machine guns, and I'm happy about the 4 AMS. That's what I'm stoked about because I'm a big support.
Oh,
I'm a big support fan. Basically, I love supporting the team, and so with the 4 AMS, holy cow!
Yeah, and that's the Piranha A, which means you gotta pay the extra monies for the reinforcement pack.
Already happening.
Oh, you already purchased it.
Yep.
Nice.
Damn. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm poking through Sarna here to see if there's anything that even falls into that in the weight class. I'm not seeing anything.
Well, for a 20-ton mech, no.
Yeah,
not for clanners.
No, there's nothing even like machine gunny on the 20-ton. Like we get what's our infantry. That's how that's traditionally looked at, is anti-infantry stuff, right? And that's like 4 machine guns on a Locust.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, since this is a hardpoint one, it's a kind of like a 2C mech where it was like a backline mech developed later on after the clan invasion. It doesn't have the omnipods like they normally do, like the Mad Cat.
I thought it was an Omni.
No, it's just not Omni. It's hardpoints.
Oh, it's a clan
really?
battle mech. Oh, that's my
It's a second
bad.
line. It's a second line mech that the clans gave to like their shitty pilots. Say, here, man, go get Inner Sphere or something like that.
So it's like a trash mech. That's
like
interesting.
a trash mech.
That's like defense. It's a defense
garrison
mech
mech type.
The second
Garrison
mech.
mech.
That's the word
garrison
I was
mechs,
looking for.
Yeah. Huh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah, and that's what happened a lot of the time in
Thank
the
you.
clan table of organization and equipment, TO&E, in that you would have the second line battle mechs, the battle mechs, the 2Cs, all that stuff, are the garrison units would come in behind the frontline units, allowing the frontline units to recuperate and then move on to the next.
Yeah, exactly.
And the frontline mechs are all Omni mechs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because that's, basically they could do anything they want for any type of situation.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And so you rarely saw, even though like the Atlas II lived in the clan, that saw a little bit of front combat because it's just so tough. But
well, like when the when like Kerensky left for the Pentagon Star, for the not the Pentagon in Washington D.C., but the Pentagon Stars or whatever they're called. Basically, when he left, they took a bunch of Starleague mechs, which were the Atlas and Locust and all kind of stuff. And then over time, they developed it into the 2Cs. and those are like all the garrison mechs that they built, like the Rifleman 2C, the Hunchback 2C, all that kind of stuff. And those are only ones with hard points. And they're just like you said, like they're mainly used like after the Omnimex run in, kill everybody. Omnimex keep on going, or the resupply. These guys are just here to go and make sure that the population doesn't try to try anything.
Apparently, there was only a few in the Battle of Tukad. I'm just following the Sarna hole that is
Sarna's
as bad
awesome.
as the Wikipedia hole. But apparently, every Atlas 2, which is like the next, I mentioned that as the one that's kind of shown up. It's a couple of them showed up in the Battle of Tukad, but they were all on the clan side. Even after the Star League rolled out all of the badass Star League era mechs that they had, because he took every single one of them with him when he left in 2785. Kerensky did.
He
took them all.
2C mechs or
all the Atlas 2, which was was supposed to be like the new take on the Atlas that had come out just as the Star League fell.
Okay.
It's those ones that I'd love to see show up. Sorry, I've readjusted, so I probably got louder, but
That's right.
I'd love to see stuff like that happen now that we're into the era where those mechs started to come back. And, the updated versions of the new or of the old badass Intersphere mechs would be really cool.
Well, like once the Grey Death Legion found the Helm Core and then distributed throughout the Inner Sphere, basically around 30, 40, right after the Ronin War, of Karita, they basically went ahead and started building all these different Star League mechs. They started building like the Thug. They started building the old Crab. Started building like all those other all the other mechs. And so the Star League mechs were coming out around 30, 50, just coming out. And then
Just
of course,
in
the clans,
time.
just in time for the clans. Of course, also for just in time for us to buy the little lead miniatures too.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, the Piranha is going to be nice. I'm kind of happy about this thing. It's going to be interesting to go check out. I mean, it doesn't have anything like you seem like capable of maskering or jump jets per se, but I mean, we're talking 12 light machine guns. And if I could do some cool damage with 6 light machine guns, holy crap! I mean, 12 is going to be incredible. But of course, ammo is going to be the big issue though.
I want to give some props to whoever designed it because it looks awesome.
Oh, the Piranha itself?
Yeah.
The actual design thing is
Awesome.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love the little angry head. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Oh, the angry
Well,
head.
and that fits in with kind of how a lot of the battle mechs and stuff have been designed, with the Wolfhound with its kind of distinctive head, the wolf's head that you can kind of see the ears, and the Panther was the same way, and kind of and it's neat to see that on a clan mech.
Although, like, if I was
necessarily.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
No, it's okay.
If I was designer of this mech, though, I would actually take and close the mouth a little bit, because I don't really need a big windshield saying "shoot me here in the head," type thing. But like, I'll have a little slit, or something like that, or not even that. Have little sensors outside my cockpit instead of like "shoot me here" type thing. But of course, if I'm running at like 900 miles per hour or something, like however fast it runs, I'm really not going to be hitting the head.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've talked about that with some of the other designs that I'm hoping they come in with, like the Apollo. It's like the new Trebuchet, kind of. It's a Free Worlds design that was just an LRM medium, basically, a fire support medium, and it had this huge cockpit glass. It was like, it's like a bay window standing in front of the guy. Like, that's asking to get killed.
Yeah, I'm actually looking up right now.
And Reality Deviant saying the quad AMS is limited, though. You have around 9.5 tons to work with. If you drop the engine to 150, you need 1 extra heatsink, so don't gain much for the AMS, which is true. And so it's more of just kind of like, I'm here with some AMS for 1 ton type thing.
Yeah, it's just extra protection.
Yeah.
But
go
go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
So now I'm thinking for the long haul is that whenever this thing drops, we know that the main event is going to be the big machine gun mech. But what do we think is going to be the longer lasting one? Like 3 weeks after this thing drops.
What do you mean?
Well, what's going to be the persistent? We're going to see a lot of use out of the 3.
Oh god!
I mean, it's an energy vote. It's just a burner. That's all it is.
12
a whole bunch
lasers.
of torso energy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be everywhere. I think the 4 AMS is interesting, but more from the perspective of See, but you can't turn off. I'd love to be able to turn off
You can.
your laser AMS and leave your other AMS on, because then it's like I have two of each. It's a little bit weird, but I'm the ultimate. Like I run at a conventional AMS, I just flip over to laser and we keep moving on.
I thought they fixed that though, to tell you the truth.
Oh, did they? I haven't played around with it since, so I could well be wrong.
Yeah, I think actually, you can turn off the laser AMS now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
which definitely helps, man.
And that's
So,
that's
you're funny, dude.
This is what I get for playing more as much.
Hey,
Arc
I'm
as
proud
I've
to
been
be a
playing.
MechWarrior nerd.
Oh, and actually in the comments we got Kova saying 12 heavy machine guns.
Oh Jesus! Well, you couldn't do that. It's 12 tons. You know.
Yeah, that's a lot of tonnage right there. Yeah.
I mean, like I'm thinking like either normal machine guns or light machine guns. I mean, you wouldn't have like heavy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of light because this thing doesn't have ECM. It doesn't have jump jets either, so it's gonna be just a fast little ground crawler.
Yep. Decent sized engine.
Yeah.
Oh, 180. What's the engine cap? Do we see it? 180.
Yeah, 180.
It's 180. Yeah. It comes capped.
Yeah, it comes capped. It says
already.
the max engine. Yeah.
Well,
that's poopy.
Well,
yeah,
the one only has single heat sinks, so you have to spend 1.5 million to get those up to doubles, which is kind of I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? It's kind of well, I guess I don't know. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It's ballistic. I mean, it's a machine gun boat. Do you need to?
Well, look at what 12, 13, 14, 15 for the 2, 15 energy for the 2. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Oh, the 2 is the one with all. I said the 3. I didn't even look at the 2.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, that's gonna be gross. Micro lasers.
Oh my God.
Oh. I actually like the build that they have on the 2. Heavy mediums in the arms, and a heavy small in the head. That's weird, or the CT. That must be a thing. And then 612 micro lasers. That's kind of neat.
That's gonna be neat. Yeah, but like I think we're gonna see a lot of the 2, and then I think actually the people who buy the hero, the Cypher, I think the Cypher is a pretty good balanced one actually.
6 and 8. Oh yeah, definitely 9. I mean, yeah.
I'm a little sad they didn't come up with a missile variant somewhere in these 5. Just, it's not like we're going to get backstabby lights the way we used to, but it would be cool to have one that had a little bit of capability of that. A little bit of punch.
I guess if you did that, like how many tons could you put on for missiles though? That's the only issue for 20.
Not a ton,
well, just
but
like
I mean,
that new Irby coming out, how many tons of like MRMs would you have on that?
Oh, I'm loading worms on that for days.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like there's a Locust that I had 2 SRM6s on and a couple tons of ammo, and it was fine. It was totally fine.
Actually, I might revisit the Locust on that one because I mean, like before it had four ports, right? Like for the missiles. I might revisit with like 2 MRM10s or something like that.
Ooh.
Just revisit it just to see if I could do anything like with it.
Well, and that's part of the reason I'd like to see a missile variant with this, because some of the low count ATM builds might be kind of neat in a light. Just where you use that mobility, but you get the extra punch, and you can always kind of hit your optimal damage because you have the speed and maneuverability to get there all the time. Could be interesting.
Oh yeah, this mech's gonna be interesting, like to say the least. I'm just kind of happy. Like the decals look pretty cool, and what the hell that little item fishbowl thing is.
I love that.
I know that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
3 copies of Bruce.
Bruce, the standing cock. Not the final art they want us to know.
Yeah.
But Bruce isn't gonna look like that.
And the same thing with the decal bullets.
I think it'd be funny if Bruce did actually come in like that. It was just like a little like paper.
I wonder how they decide what pattern to give out. Do they like take it and apply all the patterns and go, "This is the one that looks the best. We're going to send it out with it."
Well, that's with their art team. Basically, they just kind of screw around. This looks cool. Let's have that. Type thing.
Yeah. That's my favorite pattern, far and away. The Franken thing looks awesome.
I mean, I do think the. And what's that Wolf one coming out like on the 19th? It's the one with like 9 missile ports.
Oh,
the Arctic Wolf.
Yeah, Arctic Wolf one. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that when I'm asking for a missile piranha. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually pre-ordered the darn thing. I cannot wait for that to come in.
I didn't pre-order it, but I might actually just pick it up anyways.
Oh, it looks so good.
That's a Seabell mech for me.
For me though, it's just that every missile hardpoint is right above the cockpit or just in line with the cockpit.
Yeah, it's
the Arctic
it's
Wolf,
gonna be gross.
Yeah, because and it has missiles in the arms too.
Yep.
So you can have right along the top of the mech is missiles. So you can peek with this thing, and then just unleash with the arms if you have to. It's gonna be sick.
Oh my God, you're right. I'm looking at that now. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be disgusting when that thing comes out.
Well, you could put like a bunch of streaks and just start like hammering out the just start killing locusts mechs.
Yeah. Well, this thing will be out before the Piranha, so yep, I know what I'm loading onto it.
Bet you those two on the outside, although we're probably running into the same where it's like the artwork isn't final.
That's
but the two on the outside, I think it's probably like 2 or 3 in the arms. Mm-hmm. So those 2 shoulder-mounted ones are arm. Yeah, so they'll have a little bit of travel too.
But still, that's a high mount, so it's actually going to work out really well.
It'll work really well. Yeah, just make sure, as long as you take the time to figure out which one's which. It's never. If they just made it always the top, maybe they did. But.
Those like commandos, man. I swear to God, like every game is like the last one to live, and he's like kicking ass. It's like, what the hell? Dude?
Oh yeah,
I cannot.
It's always that or locust.
Yeah. But like, literally every time I play Commando, I'm like legged and dead. Every time someone else plays it, they're like running around through our lines, 12 guys trying to fire and kill this thing. It's like, and like nothing happens. I don't understand, man. I gotta get good.
Yeah, gotta get good.
I gotta get good.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
So, is there anything else we have to say about the Piranha though, besides just nothing about machine guns or just a laser vomit for days in this thing?
Micro laser vomit and machine gun vomit. But
I'm interested. That's all I can say.
Yes.
I have to say something though. It will actually, the machine guns will get nerfed after this comes out. I got to tell you this right now.
Yeah, you're right. As will micro lasers. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It will be nerfed, man.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised machine guns didn't get nerfed already because of the cheetah and the mislinks.
Well, they did. They reduced down the crit rating and the spread or something like that.
So they're gonna bring it back to the way it used to be.
Well, I don't know, but it's gonna get nerfed, man. I can tell you this right now.
It's funny that you say that, Larsh, because if you go back, any of the StarCraft people who are familiar with StarCraft and how it's kind of patched, so many things have come in that were part of the game or like close to how they were when they first started, but they got patched down so people kind of learned it. And now it's like, well, now we need to fix it. Everything comes back. It's like, okay, I thought this was. Oh no, it's not a problem anymore because people understand how to deal with it.
Well, one thing. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, it's just kind of cool to see that when a company recognizes that, and a lot of the time we could see that kind of thing with MechWarrior, where it's like we're gonna tweak some of the damage stuff, or we're gonna tweak some of that with the intent of teaching people or of having people learn something else. That when we put it back to the way it was, it doesn't feel as broken.
Well, one thing I want to see coming back is the missiles. Like in the beta, the missiles were freaking killer. They twisted and turned and all that kind of stuff. Looked awesome. And now it's just like a stream of missiles coming at you. It's like, okay, whatever. But the other ones actually look really, really nice. And I don't know why they actually changed that.
I think it had to do with grouping, because it was part of that is that they were all trying to get to the center point, and they were all like it was a lot tighter group. Without intentionally
it's probably it.
Lowering the it's hard to describe, but I remember when that happened, when it was like now everything is just going to launch in a big thing. It's a big cloud. More the way it's supposed to be, I think. It looked really cool before, but I mean, LRM-10s were disgusting because of their rate of fire. They did so much damage, or so much DPS, because almost all 10 missiles would hit every single time. Right? I was like, ugh.
Okay, so like, what's the next on the agenda?
So I think next, if we're kind of done going with the Piranha, which I think we kind of are, we'll just move into the giant beef of the podcast here, and that is the tournament. Now, I know Bob and I have not really followed the tournament as heavily as we should have, but Register, I think you had a few things, though.
So what's a tournament? I have no clue what a tournament is. So
what's a tournament?
Okay, so
tournament.
The MechWarrior Online World Championships 2017 are on. They have completed we have now determined exactly who will be going to MechCon in December. I'm vamping as I pull up the list because I lost it. I don't know what happened. Hold on.
Well, looks like
bad.
EMP 228 and Eon.
Yes, that is exactly it. There's a post on the MechWarrior website along with a game that is probably my favorite game of the championships or that series. Was 228 Blackwatch versus Eon, as opposed to the other 228 team, which didn't do quite as well, but which would be 228 Wild Ones.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know who watched 2016. Some of the big teams have kind of combined, like we had RJF, Russian Jade Falcon, as they called them. I think it's officially Russian Clan Jade Falcon, but and Black Spikes combined to field the same team. They had like my favorite game or match against each other in the group stage last year. They played an awesome series. It's like a 45-minute series as every game went to cap. It was gross, but it was a lot of fun. So it was cool to see those guys get together and kind of put their best players together. Steel Jaguar played well. Anyway, so I'm getting off track here, but see, the problem is I was all organized on my problems with it and how I've got some issues with how they've kind of presented the tournament. That it's kind of hard for me to come up with a summary of the tournament because of the way it's been presented.
Well, I think let's go ahead.
So, what do you guys want to hear? What do we want to hear? Let's talk about...
Well, I currently have the bracket on screen at the moment. I think that might be a good way to go up with this here. Can you explain the bracket? Do we know what's going on with the bracket?
That's a confusing one.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's like Greek, guys. I don't even know. So one of my let's not get into the issues per se, but as you can see, we've got a top half of the bracket that ends at the White Death Mercenary Company and Phoenix Legion match. That's match 4. If you're looking at the bracket there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our top. That's our kind of top end. We had TCAF, JGX, who I think that's the Jaguar Guards, and RJFS and Eon were all seeded in from I don't know where. It doesn't tell me. I can't figure that out. So you're starting to see why I'm a little confused about how to start with this whole thing, because I don't know if they had a prelim stage that got those 4 guys seeded, or if they're I know they're not seedings from the previous tournaments. Because I believe Eon won, and we had 228 and EMP were all there. It was Eon.
Because I thought the bracket started with a bunch of people, not like 4
teams. It did. I can't find it.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Sorry,
to have this,
sorry,
though.
Bob.
No, go ahead, man. Yeah. It just I thought they started with like the second row bracket, like that's everybody. Then they went dwindling down, just depending who actually wins or loses.
Yeah, that's weird.
They had.
I finally see what you mean, because I'm looking at like JGX. They're in like the bracket 2, not bracket 1. I don't know.
I know, and they're just all of a sudden so these guys are in the tournament. Good to know. Didn't know how that happened. So I've got a few ideas of how they could approach that better, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. Okay. So the qualifiers. Like, it's one of these things. This is I'm looking at the rules. They have their conduct and their collusion rules are their big thing, and then qualifiers and semifinals. Oh, by the way, this whole bracket is the semifinals.
Really?
This is all the semifinals. That in and of itself is confusing, because I don't know about you guys. When I hear semifinals, I think of 4 teams.
Yeah, same here.
Right?
Hold on, the semifinals are going to do at MechCon, right?
Well, no, the finals, what they're calling the finals, which are 3 teams, as opposed to the finals, which are 2 teams.
But only a Tuesday on the full moon, right?
Exactly. And in Canada, because, everything's better in Canada and makes sense. But
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing.
Going to hell for that one.
See, you can say stuff like that when we're already confused because no one argues with you.
I mean, I'm super confused. So basically, I know a normal. I know the stuff from like Mr. Miyagi, basically like and watch the Karate Kid and everything. I looked at that bracket going, okay, that makes sense. This is like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So to give you guys a bit of a background, I made a run at being a competitive a Brood War player. I was bad at it, so I stopped. But I never really left that scene of esports and watching tournaments. And I watch League, I watch Dota, I watch Hearthstone, I watch it all. Everything. If there's a tournament and I find it, I will watch it. So I've run into some really, really awkward looking tournament formats in the MLG days with StarCraft 2 when they had like double elimination or extended series where it's like, oh, I lost to this guy earlier on. So instead of needing to beat him 2 times, I have to beat him 4 times, but he only needs to beat me 2 times. Like it's just confusing, right? And unnecessary confusion was the biggest reason that they removed that sort of thing from the bigger tournaments. Like, so almost all the big tournaments now are single elim. We have a seeding stage. We have some way of determining seeding into it, be it a group stage earlier on in the week or qualifiers over an extended period of time before that. It's all easy to figure out. Like I pulled up the DreamHack Montreal bracket for StarCraft 2 and showed you guys. And it's like, it's night and day. Do you want to pull that up, Larsh, so we can show the difference between... Oh, cool. I'm apparently
like DreamHack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that too, actually.
Night and day difference between understanding what was supposed to happen in the bracket.
Yeah, that's a bracket
looking at the... Yeah. Even if you just use your hand and cover and just look at the first round, you're like, okay, that I understand. I know who's playing who. There's no weird ups and downs as... this guy lost, but he's still in, and that makes sense for the most part. If you have like a separate bracket for your loser stage, it's like makes sense. And if we were to do that, there would be another bracket down here that started after round 1, and it would be all the losers would be together, and they would play out, and they would have seeding spots for the people who lost in each round that would come in, and you'd play against them. And if you lose, you lose. Yeah. Right. And so. That's even explaining it, that's more complicated, but that is technically what we have with the MechWarrior, the World Championships, even though you'd never be able to look at the bracket and understand that. Ever.
Yeah, like I think my biggest beef with this bracket is that nothing's labeled.
Oh,
I mean, that's my biggest gripe is that, I mean, I look at it and there's nothing in here that tells me that this is the first round, this is the second round, or this down here is the double elimination portion. Nothing down here tells me any of that, which is just really frustrating. But I think honestly we could talk for days on end about how confused we are.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's not going to change anything.
One part about this that has contributed to the confusion, and I want to bring it up, and that's the way they release the videos.
Really?
Yes.
I watched one match, and it was interesting. It was pretty cool, like kind of watch them, see what they do, as far as like the top elite MechWarrior type things. But it's like, like I watch so many matches you don't understand, just getting footage, and like, it's like almost the most boring thing. But like sometimes I watch, just so people get some ideas and everything else. But it was okay. It wasn't too bad, and the announcers were actually really good. I have to admit that they were really good. Hats off to MDM0 and Bandit. They have done a great job this year. They knew what to talk about. They're running around. They knew exactly who was who, what they were doing, what position. He went over here for this. These guys were. I mean, they were awesome.
And they knew the actual basic loadouts of all the mechs.
Yep.
And I mean, granted, I hate to say, I only watched it for about like an hour today because I hadn't had a chance to watch it all week. Yep. And I didn't watch it as much that like last year, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. It's like I mean, probably next week, whenever I go into work, I might just keep us have on my side monitor just as background.
Yeah. There was some really good games throughout it. Like Osiris and EMP, I think was the one it was a 2-0 for EMP, but they were close games. EMP has played really well, guys. Like we run into them in drops fairly regularly. I don't know about you, but I know I have. So I've played against a lot of those guys off and on. They don't know that, but I remember. Same with the 228 guys.
228 a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see, and that's one of the things that kept me interested throughout, even though I had no... I guess that's one of the problems with a confusing tournament, is you have no idea of the storyline. Like, I can look at, now that I've understood how this bracket works, I can go, how did EMP get here? Oh, okay. Oh, they went 2-0, they went 2-0.
Yeah.
They went 2-0, they went 2... Oh, okay, they just rocked everybody. Cool, good to know. Right? But that's not an apparent... evident thing. And if I were to point to a drawback that Bandit and MDM0 had, is that they don't really build a storyline.
Hold on. I gotta stop you there. I was thinking about this, like when I was watching it too. Do you think it'd be better if they did something like WWE, like where he said, "You're going down, EMP," something like that?
I'm a fan of trash talking in interviews. They need to have some interviews. They need to get some. I was hoping we could. I don't know if anyone listening or any of you guys know any of the guys on any of these teams, but if so, let them know. I'd love to talk to them at some point about.
Well, at 228, I might know a couple people. Like I talked to a couple people, but it's like, I mean, I think that'd be kind of funny though, and plus also get people more like involved into watching this. You're going down EMP.
Absolutely.
Your mech is trash to my compactor. Or whatever.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it would definitely make personal grudges or personal challenges. It's kind of like when you watch NFL when the person gets interviewed and one player talks about how they're gonna destroy the other player, and then all match you're wondering, oh, is that guy gonna like do the thing he was talking about? And you're just wondering the whole time, and just waiting, just like in pure, it's like just wanting to see it.
It will be interesting, and just be kind of just kind of like funny things to do in the game to make it more interesting.
And I think we kind of like lightly touched on this last live stream too. Is that I think I brought up, like, do they actually do interviews with these players? And I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Apparently not. Is the sad answer to that. I know there's been some reluctance on behalf of some of the players to do that sort of thing. I don't know about these guys in particular, but I know that was a problem in 2016 where it was like a lot of the teams were like, just let us play our games.
That's a little upsetting because
right?
if you're here trying to build the community and you want to do this tournament, you should be willing to say, yes, we are here to help promote your game and we want to make this thing exciting.
Yeah. Well, and the other side of that is there was this whole kind of kerfuffle around the fact that PGI released emblems for the teams, like team logos. That they sold, and the money was going to the teams. As far as I knew, as far as I was explained, it was going to the teams. Maybe that wasn't the case, and that was part of the problem. But my understanding was that the teams would see something out of that, so people could,
well, if they won,
spend MC to display their affiliation, as it were, the equivalent of wearing a Vancouver Canucks jersey or a New York Rangers jersey or some football team that I don't know. Baltimore Ravens. I know a team.
What are sports?
Sports. What's that?
Sports.
Yeah. But so, like, that's one of the things about pro sports is there's the market to it. People want to, and yes, it's a money grab. People to spend their hard-earned money on something that gives somebody, but it's also lets these people say, I'm a fan. I enjoy watching this. Let's,
Yeah, well, it's, and like, so let's just take the case of the NFL. I mean, I grew up in Pittsburgh all my life. I'm still in Pittsburgh. I don't watch much
Steelers,
football.
right?
Yes, exactly.
So you're a Raiders fan?
Yes, that's
sorry.
two.
Oh, okay. I'm not that big into sports, but you'll get decked in the face if you say Ravens. But it's freaking Suggs.
By the way, I think I said Baltimore Raiders, which is wrong.
I said
but that's
Oakland
okay.
Raiders, but yeah.
It's the Oakland Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, but back in high school and partially into college, I bled black and gold, and I would buy the hoodies and everything. So imagine if they had in game a 228 emblem. You could buy a decal, and then you could be like, yes, I have my cockpit full of 228 swag. That would be a way to promote some stuff, I think, Jenny, when they do these tournaments. Because I mean, as sad as it is, they did promote this tournament a little bit, but it's there. But I don't really know many people who have said, yes, I have watched this, and said, yes, I'm excited.
I mean, I think Team Richard, you're the only person that really, like, out of all of our Discord, actually watched like a lot of this, though. Like all the rest of us,
I've watched them all.
Yeah. Like I said, you're the only person that, like, in our Discord, we have a lot of people in Discord that actually, probably didn't watch this. But you are right, Larsh. Basically, if they had T-shirts, I mean, T-shirts be pretty easy to do, and they could set up and have the funds go towards the prize money. But of course, you got to get permission, from the teams to go ahead and do that, which they didn't do the first time.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And if it were me, I would have been like, okay, guys, let's just don't do that again. But okay, cool. But some people threw up a stink and made an issue, and so that isn't a thing that they do anymore, which is too bad, because there needs to be a way for fans to get involved other than just watching, right?
Yeah.
And be it following the storylines that the casters create. What just happened?
Sorry, I'm reading my chat, and Stephen Ellis just did something. Oh my god. Okay, he says, have the beef. Say,
oh no.
All right, Bob, you can go ahead and read now.
Oh my god. I'm going to rip off Proton's arms and legs and shove his head up the jump jet and turn him into a donut. Imagine Beast Boy saying that. See, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, and those are the interviews we need.
Oh god, that'd be so funny.
Although, we're a long ways from that in other esports too. That's a bone of contention when it comes to StarCraft, where you hear so often from Korean players, well, I just want to give my fans nice games and play as good as I can and hope it'll all go well. When this guy's an absolute monster who's going to crush anybody in his path.
See, the problem is,
I just want to play well. It's like, oh, come on. Just thump your chest a bit, man.
And then, of course, you come to America. They're just like...
See, the problem is this, though. Basically, most gamers, though, I know, like, for me, it's hard for me to actually kind of do, like, making videos is cool. I could talk and do the things, but once, like, I'm put on the spot, for a lot of gamers, they're just not, they don't have that moxie. Basically, they do like I'm gonna rip Proton's arms off and shove his head up his ass and turn him into a donut, that kind of thing. They don't really do that kind of thing, and they're more like introverts than like most gamers are. But that's great. A
lot of them are, because you know what, that actually brings up a video I saw recently. Is that I forget for what esport, but it was mainly one of those like, all the players come out one by one from like a behind the curtain fog machine, and they would come out and do a pose, and it looked really embarrassing.
Oh, some of those are so bad. But I remember there's every once in a while somebody steps through and does something amazing.
Yeah, there's always the handful. Yeah,
and
I mean, there's some good people out there. Yeah,
guy named MC in the GSL intros in, I don't even know, it was like, so this is StarCraft 2, it's in Korea, it would have been 2011 maybe. He walked in as the Undertaker with the coffin and everything and pointed to the guy, and it was like it was awesome. And people still talk about that. Here I am. It's like 5-6 years ago. Right? And but the problem is that's one of the few shining examples of really good kind of pre-game ceremony that we've had in StarCraft.
Yeah.
And I always point to the fact that in general, people who play StarCraft are the intellectual side, because it's that kind of game. Maybe I'm a bit of a snob, but you need to have your brain on.
Oh yeah.
If you're going to do well in that game.
Those kind of games, my God, yeah, you do.
With the amount of trash talk that we see in MechWarrior quick play, why is it that we don't have something to do with that, some hype? Like, get these guys in between, get the captains in so they can go, I thought that was a pretty good move. This was our plan. Oh, by the way, you guys suck.
Yeah, but
Right?
the thing is, though, like most of the time, like with like the NFL, you always have them like, oh, we played a good game, they played a good game,
Yeah.
and like we did this, and but it's like it's so scripted so much that basically, like when you watch these NFL like interviews, especially basketball ones, watch them afterwards, you're sitting there going like, dude, that's scripted. Come on, oh,
Yeah, because these
everyone's
guys have
really
been
good.
taught how to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they don't have those skills either. They've been playing basketball or football their whole life.
Yeah, exactly. But with gamers, though, like we're such introverts that basically we'll just we don't know what to say type thing, being put on the spot.
Yeah, it's just like, yep, I played good. I hit the buttons.
Exactly.
I did the things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Spectre's talking about better casters. I assume that's what you mean by match hosts.
That definitely does
match
help,
hosts,
though. Like I have to,
It'd be nice to see another pair, so we
Yeah.
can kind of see some contrast. I'll put my hand up if the Piranha Games guys want me to do it, but they don't know who I am, so it's all kind of dog shit.
I know last year when they had this tournament, there was a very slight petition to get Majestic to do it, but
Yeah.
ooh, yeah.
because that guy, he's constantly on hype all the
Yeah.
time.
Or Haven. No, man, Haven be good.
Haven.
Yeah.
I know Haven.
The other
Yeah.
thing to think
Yeah,
about
Haven
though,
Hendrick.
is how
Okay,
much,
yeah.
how often people complain about just hype casters in other esports, right? Like that's a big complaint. Is this is only hype? They're hyping something that isn't even worth hyping when you have people who know the game, right? It's like, oh, come on, guys. So there's a balance to be had with that. You don't want it to be just blood coming out of his mouth as he's screaming so hard about how amazing nothing is, right? Like you don't want it to be that.
I just love Spectre. Spectre's like, his videos make me sweat. He breathes energetic knowledge.
I will concur with that. And well said, Spectre. Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there's a few things they could do to kind of make this whole deal a little more easy to understand. And I think one of them would be to go to a traditional, like maybe a group stage where we have 3 or 4 teams, or like 4 teams, divide it into, say they have 32 or 64 teams. They divide them into groups of 4. They play each other, and then the winners play, the losers play, and 2 guys advance out of each team.
That would be
each group,
interesting,
right?
Yeah, so have
Easy,
a 4
simple.
team.
Yeah.
So like,
And then that way you just determine seeding. So say you have, what is it, 30 round of 32 into the 16. You're eliminating half the players. The winners of each group are the top 8, and then the second advancers are the 9 to 16. Right? Bam! There's your seeding. We got it. Let's move on. Simple. What were you gonna say?
Trying to think what I was going to say, actually. Like, I completely blanked out. Damn it. But yeah. Oh, you know what? No, okay. So going back to, interviews with the players and such, it would be interesting to even just have one-on-one, not even like interviews, but overviews of the mechs that the players will be using.
ooh,
I think would be interesting. Where it's one thing to say that this player is going to come out and they're going to go do this. Well, I think it'd be interesting that if the players gave some sort of, I mean, maybe not to just disclose everything they're bringing out, but just like
That's the big problem.
Exactly, and and of course you don't want to have all their secrets gone to their drop decks, but something that would be interesting that at least the, I mean, like, or maybe like give it to the casters, and then the casters wouldn't announce them until like right before the match.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
So
say,
information, something for them to talk about to kind of.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, so and so's bringing out their hunchback with this, and then they go through the build for like a few minutes before the match begins.
As
Something like
opposed
that.
to them having to wait till like the 3rd round to have seen a couple of games. Like that happened, I think it was in the Osiris games, where there was a couple of guys on Osiris. I can't remember the names, but they were running dual PPC summoners. And by the way, summoners are all over these games. Summoners, which I never thought I'd see in competitive play, but here we are. We got summoners, and they're awesome. They're actually doing it really well. It must, yeah. But they're quick, right?
yeah.
But yeah, and the dual PPC builds are predominantly what we're seeing. Although there's been some stuff with medium lasers and some kind of brawly splat stuff that hasn't done as well. But really, it's the dual ER PPC builds. But there was 2 guys that were doing like 400 and 500 damage with multiple kills in their games. They carried Osiris through the games that they won against D5 and TCAF. They ran into EMP and they were in grasshoppers and they just got rolled. It's like,
They're in
what are
grasshoppers?
you guys doing? Why did you pull those 2 out of... They were carrying you. Why did you... Right, exactly. So there's some weird... Obviously, they had a read that they didn't want to snipe, like PPC snipe against EMP or whatever it was. Like, they had a reason for that. But... And then they just got stomped over. They didn't do nearly what they had done in previous games. And the team kind of fell apart. Right? So you don't want to give too much information along the way, but you want... It would have been cool if Bandit had been able to talk about those guys as, well, they have this opportunity. Well, there's an option that they could run grasshoppers. Well, no, they're going to run their summoners. It gives a little bit more storyline into how this goes, as opposed to, oh, what the hell? They're in grasshoppers now. Did I miss something? I don't know. It's just some weird. And those 2 played amazing. I'd have to go look their names up, but yeah, they played great. I had some perverse pleasure in watching our dear friend tear up, overheat himself, and then suicide in a game. I thought that was really good. Not to call anyone out, but come on, dude. What else? What else is the big... I don't know if there's anything other like this was really cool.
Well, like I think
game-wise.
Sorry, like, go ahead. I was going to just... what do you think the viability that is of MechWarrior Line being an esport competitively against like League of Legends and StarCraft and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I doubt that with our current player base, we're even... Part of the reason that League of Legends and Dota 2 are what they are is because a gazillion people play those games.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's just enough passive understanding in the gaming community for people to go, yes, I can watch this. Even if they're not playing all the time. Right?
Yeah, but I suspect you're saying it's a niche like audience, which is true. You know, like MechWarrior Online is a niche audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is, because the player base, I mean, it's not large at all.
It's not.
It's like a couple thousand, if that.
The thing is, if we look at the complexity of strategy that the different types of mechs and different maps allow, as well as the different weapon systems and all that stuff, which all have their own place if someone can come up with a strategy that goes with them.
Yeah.
Like we saw ATMs and LRMs at different points in this bracket. The teams didn't necessarily do... Well, they one of them... I think even 228 had some ATM builds. Yeah. I think it was the Wild Ones rather than the Blackwatch, but still. Gotta love these guys that have these teams that have 2 teams in the same tournament. But
well, basically, do you think the prize money and everything else would actually be better spent on developing maps or creating like other things, or like more focused towards the game itself?
I don't. No? I think that, I mean, we're at a 50 some odd thousand prize pool. Part of that is brought about by the funding things that they did with the whatever tournament supporter packs. I think that this game has a lot of viability to be possibly good, as long as there's enough, as long as people can understand it well enough. Do you know what I mean? Like part of the reason that StarCraft has become what it is that people can recognize a high skill level, understand what it means to be good at the game, and watch the game in a way that's understandable to them, that they can go, oh, wow, that's amazing, but then play their own game. Right? And we don't have a huge... The one drawback is that the people who most watch MechWarrior World Championships are the guys that are already playing. Like I said, I recognize EMP and 228 guys from playing against them. And that was what kind of kept me going through the really confusing, no overarching story of the tournament, when I was just randomly flipping through games because they were uploaded in the most willy-nilly, not nonsensical way ever. But I was able to look at stuff and go, oh, I know that guy. I'll watch him. Try and pick up some stuff about how these guys that I've played against have done. And like we say, get a little bit of perverse pleasure from watching the ones that I haven't had the greatest interactions with, right?
Just completely just potato all.
Oh, I got my list.
He had a couple of good games,
we
though. I
do.
got to give him some credit. He had some really good games. He also had some really weird decisions, like giving away a flank with a long-range ER laser shot that just was like, what did you
really?
do? You did nothing, but you gave away your whole flank, and the team lost the game because of it. It's like, wow, why? But
Ooh,
So-
Spectre has a good idea. Honestly, it would be cool if PGI released a few mech variants based off comp players and their builds.
that'd be
That'd
interesting.
be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
actually really cool.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be really cool. One of the things about that I wasn't aware of until it was in game, because it wasn't something that jumped out at me from the rules, is there's no MC mechs in the tournament. It's
Really?
only C-Bill mechs,
Which is fine.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, also gives some explanation to why they put out some of the C-Bill variants for other mechs as well, because it's like, because those were really good versions that you would not have been eligible for the tournament.
Or like at least trial mechs when they actually go bring him in there.
Yeah,
It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fine for me. I would actually like that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that could be done with. Okay, so tonnage rules. It's a 2-2-2-2 weight class structure.
Yeah.
So there's no. So that's cool. It's 2 assault, 2 heavy, 2 medium, 2
Which
light.
is what they begin with, like, anyways, like, you know, like beforehand.
Yeah.
Now it's just like whoever's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, they got 7 assault mechs versus our 6 light mechs or something. It's like crazy.
Interesting. They're locking resolution.
Yeah, like
1920 by
yeah.
1080. Locked resolution. You cannot adjust your resolution. That's the kind of thing that people don't know this. It's one of the things that's kind of the background stuff to some of the tournaments, but that's like the biggest complaint when it comes to StarCraft tournaments. Not so much anymore because lots of the players are 16 by 9 gamers.
Thank you,
but
Spectre, for
there
following me,
was a
and
whole
welcome to the old
generation of
folks' home,
people
my friend.
who played on 4:3 monitors and could not get their head around StarCraft on a different, because it just
Change the layout.
it changes everything. It all fits the same, but when you look at a gap, it doesn't look right and stuff like that. And it was a really big thing through the first couple of years of StarCraft 2, is they kind of had this fight with people. Is it's like I brought my own 4x3
You know, I don't know,
monitor
Steven,
plug
to
in.
tell you the truth.
Like, what? Okay. And then, so there's a referee and everything comes down on that. And there was some kind of weird stuff that went on the more settings were restricted, which is why a lot of the time the tournaments have gone to, here's our setup, here's everything. Just,
Yeah.
play the game. I don't know. Is there any big questions that you guys have about this that I can try and answer?
No, I don't have a whole lot.
I mean, truly, though, like, I think the questions I asked is, like, like, pretty much make it better as far as, like, more exciting to watch, I guess. Like, with the interviews would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot they could do to kind of bring that's essentially excess content, ancillary content that happens just because it's going on. And
True.
Unfortunately, I think with the method that they're choosing to do the finals, which is we're having a one day event, and on top of it, we're going to play the finals games. Will kind of limit how much time they have to show off content like that. So I don't think they have any draw. I don't know that they see that there's a place for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's typically where that content comes up. It's like, hey, here's a road to the playoffs with this team, and we'll talk about their games, and we'll have some of the commentators come up and say, I really liked how they did X, and Y was really embarrassing for this player, and stuff like that. That's how we got here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That kind of thing really helps to, I've mentioned it a few times, storyline. And that's my biggest complaint. I could not at any point look at a YouTube video and know where it sat in the video or in the tournament, because it wasn't like round 2 RJF versus. It was just MWO WC 2017 RJF versus Eon.
Yeah, it's not numbered as anything. It's just
There's no indication. Yeah. Ugh,
just
gross.
generic match of this. Yeah.
gross, just gross. So if we were to talk about what I would personally like to see, I think we need to do away with this 3 teams going in thing. We need to go to a tournament bracket similar to the one we showed off with DreamHack. Simple, easy to look at. When it pops up on screen, you don't need to like zoom in and out to show where the hell the guy is.
Yeah.
They pull it up on screen. He's like, hold on, as he's like control scrolling out to zoom out the page so you can see everything.
Enhanced imaging.
Oh God,
Oh,
man,
no.
I still have those like on my hard drive. I'm thinking about putting
I
them up.
only began to watch those last
got all
week.
those.
Oh God,
They're
man.
great, dude.
They're awesome.
They're great. I'm in the middle of rewatching Dragon Ball Z with my food because I haven't seen it in years since I was a kid, and I was like, I'm gonna watch that.
You need to go ahead and watch that Super.
We'll tell you what,
I am.
I'll go post them up
actually.
on my site here, like on YouTube. You can watch them anytime you want.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I downloaded all of them, and it's just fun just watching those things, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I enjoyed the hell out of those. Yeah, so I think my big thing would be to let's see a more traditional bracket structure that's easier for the casters to build hype around. Because maybe Bandit and MDM Zero are amazing hype casters, but they don't have anything to work with.
Well, they're actually not too bad though. Like,
They're
I
good
definitely like them,
casters.
yeah.
Yeah. But the building hype side, I mean, that's why we see hosts at tournaments. Because then the guys can commentate and they don't have to worry about getting the crowd into it.
One of the League of Legends hype casters, I work with his mother at a store, and basically she tells me he travels the world doing that kind of stuff, and he does
Really?
League of Legends, and this guy knows his crap, and in watching him, it's just absolutely amazing. It's pretty cool, actually.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
It would be really interesting to get a chance to talk. I wonder if you should
Yeah, I'll go ahead and see if I could get his like email
get him
address.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually be kind of cool.
be
to go, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool to have somebody who's not familiar with MechWarrior look at this tournament and see what they say. Because it's easy for us to go, I know that team. Okay, that's a personal storyline that I can follow.
Yeah,
Right, but,
that's a good point. Yeah, bringing someone who has no knowledge.
Bat
of
Duck
the game,
TW,
can
thank you for the follow, my
this?
friend.
Yeah.
Welcome to the old folks' home.
That would be, and let's be honest, if we have someone who people know on the internet, other than us, of course, I'm not in that group, but other than you gentlemen, but someone who has an opportunity to, say, hey, yell at PGI on Twitter. Look, I've got, I know what I'm talking about here.
It's a lot of times in deaf ears, though, to tell you the truth. I mean, the only time I, kind of like, hey, Russ, man, get some freaking armor on the left and right torso of the Uzils, and then they changed it. That's the only time I kind of like said, dude, you got to do this because it sucks.
Oh yeah.
I think to get back to the viability question, I do truly think that this game can be viable. I mean, there have been MechWarrior games that have had competitive gaming for, it's safe to say, a decade now. Right? Like, so it's not like there isn't an institutional memory, as it were, for competitive MechWarrior. Like, that's a thing that has a basis that we can work on. It's just a matter of building around it and saying, okay, this is how you're going to absorb this tournament, you the fan, as opposed to you the player, or you the, just from the fan perspective, and kind of making it easier for someone to become a fan of the game from not knowing the game, or from being a player sometimes, whatever. But,
Yeah, I kind of like what Spectre here is saying, is that, he sees a player saying, quote, so the big robot shot the other robot with the lightning thingy. And, yeah, big stompy robot action. Awesome. I wish they would actually get close instead of hiding on hills, sniping like Battlefield.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about League of Legends and what has made it so popular, and I made the comment about the player base, but part of what's made it so popular is that there's depth to each game. No two games really play out the same. I mean, they may have the same strategies going in, but decisions made by individual players as the game progresses influence how the game is presented to the fans. And
Well, yeah,
to the
that's the
audience.
main thing about it,
And one of the things in that example game they put up on MechWarrior, the MechWarrior website, was that you could see the point when the player or when his team called him off and said, okay, you don't need to push for that anymore. Just make sure we have our 1 cap. We're going to win this. Right. And it's he retakes Sigma, kills Colonel O'Neill to take Sigma.
What about the Stargate?
Flips it back over, rolls around to get, this is on Canyon Network, rolls around to Epsilon. Supernova long ranges him and takes out, he's in an Arctic Cheetah, and stops the cap, but he'd already neutralized it. Mm-hmm. And instead of fighting it, instead of doing anything, he just backed out. And you can see he took a step forward, and his team was very evidently like, nope, get out of there. It's fine. Just back out. And so he just rolled back. And sure enough, he was able to defend Sigma for the 30 or 40 points they needed. Game ended 750, 734. With a 4 cap against him. It's like they knew. They were in a position to say, we're good. That's fine. That isn't evident to somebody who doesn't know the game as well as we do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like where that comes in. So in that point, Bandit is going ballistic. And MDM0 is doing his best to figure out whether it's going to happen. It's like you can hear him clicking away in the calculator in the background practically. As he's like, is this going to work? So there was some really cool stuff like that where the fact that was a possibility and that tension existed for even a moment gives me a lot of hope for MechWarrior in general as a competitive enterprise.
Well, who knows? You know, it might actually become something like in the future. So it just all depends. You know, like it's just a matter of time. Everything great comes over time, and it's just not. You know, it can't just be like this year we're gonna have the best MechWarrior thing in the whole wide world. It just comes over time. Everything you do has to be like that. So you know, it'll be cool. I'm gonna definitely watch it during MechCon. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, same.
Probably plan to have like a stream and kind of watch that type of thing. Be kind of cool.
Yep. So I was just gonna. So as far as I know, Red Bull has an esports World of Tanks thing. So World of Tanks is kind of the example that a lot of people use for MechWarrior because they have a lot of the same principles, except that they have some of the same principles, and I've never admitted that before, but it's true.
It is. I know a lot of people who play this game also play it, so
yeah.
I never played World of Tanks. Never, ever, ever.
Never at all? No.
Never.
No, so I swear not. No. I've never actually touched it. I've only watched games. I watched, and I think it partly came because they were both kind of getting in their stride at the same time, MechWarrior and World of Tanks. So I think Tanks was a bit earlier. But when I was playing MechWarrior a lot was when World of Tanks was really blowing up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, basically, like I played World of Tanks ever since it came out, and it's cool. I love the concept. I'm a big history buff. I love tanks.
Yeah,
but it's just it's there. It's there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so they have some esports viability because of they have the grand finals for the Wargaming League, as they call it, the WGL, is heading to Moscow this year, apparently. Wow. Yeah, so that's cool. Good for Moscow. A Russian team's going to win again, so might as well send it there.
Might as well.
But anyway,
I was trying to think. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
I'm not 100% sure I made any sense today, but
you did. Man.
I feel like we've talked a lot in circles, but I think we've gone over the tournament as much as we could.
Yeah, a lot of circles. Well, and I think though that kind of I keep coming back to stuff like presentation and storylines and stuff like that. Those are the big things that make an esport that make an esport bring it up to the next tier. When anybody can look at it and go, oh, cool, I can follow this, even if they're just following it through tweets as people talk about games. And they're like, oh, cool, I have a picture in my head of what this tournament looks like, and that is not in any way present with the World Championships for me. And I really struggled. Drop the mic.
It's just TRS out. No, but I do agree with you. But I know probably starting next week, whenever I have more free time, I'm probably gonna just start watching these matches and see if I can find out what like the actual order.
Yeah.
What to go in,
Yeah,
'cause
true,
It sounds
true.
like it's a hard thing.
Well, like,
Yeah, if you guys are sitting here listening, just go over to the MechWarrior Online YouTube channel without navigating away from YouTube. Don't do that. I have to hit you. Hit new tab. There we go. Anyway, and check out. Just look at the uploaded videos, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Ugh,
well, I'm gonna watch it just for some ideas about like how to play it, everything too.
Yes. I guess I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I really enjoyed the games that were played. There were very few times when I was like, what is this guy doing? The drop decks made sense. The strategies made sense. There was new stuff happening. Like I watched a Kappa push through Tourmaline Desert where they dropped on Team 1 and they all went to C, like Lance C, and pushed out towards Kappa, which I've never seen in a game before. They took that top road down into the bucket that is around Kappa, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is brilliant. Unfortunately, someone let go of a large laser shot and gave away the surprise. But it was like that would have absolutely just turned because none of them were looking in that direction at all. It's like they would have walked right into the back. Two executioners or two maulers and a grasshopper and something else would have just stomped into the back of the enemy team and ripped them to pieces. Instead, they got torn up. But there's been some really cool strategies used by the different teams, and I want to give props to everybody who sat down and said, what can we do to get good games in this tournament? Because there were some awesome games in this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's probably the main reason why I want to go ahead and rewatch these. Actually, is that this game, watching it in third person from that view definitely brings me back to when I played tabletop.
Oh yeah.
And it really makes you think like, oh yeah, this game actually is strategy when you take it out of the usual pug land of just run and gun and shoot
Snipe.
and die.
Yeah. There's a ton of strategy like in this game. Yeah, I know. Like when I do pushes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say, but people don't use it. That was about it, really.
No, yeah. Well, like I know, like when I do pushes and basically I'm going over a hill or I'm about to go over a hill, I hope to pray to God someone actually places a UAV so I know what's behind the hill. And so basically when I kind of decide what I'm doing, information warfare is one of the major thing about this game, that you got to know what's going on if you're going to go, okay, let's push Gamma 5, let's go there and go attack there. And there's a lot of strategy like in this game.
Well, I think one of the bigger things too is that the murder ball has become so prominent and such a thing where everyone just kind of groups together
in quick play.
And then they just ball into it, and then they roll. And I
was just going to say, I think part of the reason is that people have gotten yelled at so many times for going off on their own.
Yeah,
like people who don't have any other concept in this game but to cuddle up to the guy next to him and block as they're trying to trade.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Concept they have.
Well, I think the issue is that people will go off on their own, but they won't communicate. If they communicated and said, "Hey, I'm going to go over here and scout," then people wouldn't complain.
Well, I know, like, during like events, always like they want to get the extra points of damage, so they run right in front of my rack 5 rounds. It's like, okay, well, this is kind of sucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. You feel my pain, huh?
Oh, I do. I fed MRM-30 to the back of an Arctic cheetah that jumped in front of me to take a shot today. I felt so bad because it was like I was clicking, but it's like there's no way I just let it happen. But it's like I could have moved my torso and whatever. I just melted the poor bastard.
Jeez.
Oh,
sucks.
Oh yeah, it was in Frozen City. He hopped up on one of the little half buildings to get a better shot. Yeah, his torso disappeared. I felt really bad.
Oh,
jeez. Okay.
But yeah, same here. Like, I think we've kind of reached the pinnacle. I mean, do you guys have anything else?
I don't have much,
questions, suggestions?
Yeah, questions from the audience there.
Yeah, questions from the yeah.
Any questions? We'll wait about 15 seconds because I think that's my that's my delay too.
Mm-hmm. Got to give them time to think after they hear it.
Yep. Questions from the audience. Why is the sky blue? Why is the ocean blue? What?
Yes.
Now you're giving them ideas.
I know.
Well, Spectre's like, oh shit. Oh
no.
See, he's thinking.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It worries me. Yeah, worries me. I'd be interested in what the viewers have to say about this mech. Like, just give us a quick, like, did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Were you interested at all?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah,
did
true,
you watch
true.
it? I should have figured out how to put a poll on the stream, because I think it's a thing I can do.
Oh, yeah, that's what we can do.
I can get probably get a thing for that.
Yeah.
Well, for next stream, we'll ponder it.
Okay.
But Spectre says I watched one match of the tournament and the final match, and that was it.
Larsh, you can use that.
Oh, nice, thank you.
Stevenson says, are they going to have graphics details setting to at least medium? I don't know what that means. Are they going to have the graphics detail settings to at least medium?
Oh, what were the people doing the stream? Did they have their settings on low?
I don't think so.
Well, I got mine.
Are we talking?
Oh. Yeah, I didn't really take notice of that, but
I don't know.
I didn't spend a lot of time looking real close to see how the textures were, but I mean, you could see when stuff broke off mechs, so that was good enough usually.
Yeah,
right?
I think
that's kind of my.
And they're zoomed out so far away, you really can't tell. You know.
I saw one person that can set the graphics to low and be able to see through walls. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is one thing, because you're actually lowering the textures and such.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those textures don't load immediately when you're on low.
Hey, Kobold.
Yeah.
Well, who knows, basically. You guys have any more questions?
I think that might be it, guys.
Okay.
Well.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're gonna wrap things up then. This has been Larsh. Question: can we form a comp play team?
Oh, we already did.
I'm down.
Well, I actually did make comp team Didney.
We did. We never got around to do anything.
We never played a match, but it's sitting out there.
We should do that for next year. We should get the YouTubers together and just do a YouTubers comp play team and just go win the damn thing and fund our YouTube channels for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, okay. Like that happens.
Oh my God. Optimism, Bob. Optimism.
Reality.
Optimism. Hey. We come on. We do have a fan base, you know.
Yeah.
We've got some good players that are around.
Good friends, man. Good friends. Like everyone that watches, good friends, man.
Autistic screech to all teams that.
Oh God.
Yes. This we need to, and in fact, it needs to. I'm not even going to say that.
Gain popularity through insult. See, if we had Onyx back.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Well, you do have that channel now. Based on autistic. That was funny, by the way. Like me and Ian are sitting there just listening to all the goats scream.
Oh, we'll just go back into the screeching chat. Just do $play.
Yeah.
And there's more in there now.
Oh my God! No.
There's more in there. It's
that
bad.
was just freaking funny as hell.
All right, guys. I think that's gonna cover most of it. I guess to do the save the exit. This has been Larsh, your casual mech warrior. As always, you can catch me on YouTube, Larsh the Casual Mech Warrior, at Twitch, Larsh8888, on Twitter and Patreon.
This is old Bob 10025. You can catch me on Patreon. All my links are down below. You guys, if you like just watching the video, I have all my links there. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. God, what else do I have? Oh, VidMe's coming up pretty soon. I'll be doing videos on there as well, and just everything else. And I do appreciate everyone watching. You guys are what makes this game great.
This is Phenom from Team Redshirt. And we're on Team Redshirt on YouTube and Twitch. It's really easy. Just search for us and come give me some subs. I need some more subs. Come on, guys. You're listening. Come give me some sub love.
Yeah, give me some subs, guys.
I'd love to do this, and actually put a run at this, but
Let me go ahead and link you like in there also too. Hold on a second.
oh, brilliant! Yeah,
Hold on a second. And plus also too, I'll have all the links on my videos on YouTube for everyone here, Larsh and Team Richard as well too.
Yeah, let me go ahead and find that link for people.
links are in description there, Mr. Spectre, and I can't post links into Larsh's Twitch.
Yeah, it's the same here actually. I got that thing too. Just hold on a second. I got you like on my page under recommended. So hold on a second.
I saw that. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem.
It's cool.
Always, always like helping out the community, man. Always like doing that and helping out like everybody that I can. Makes me feel kind of good.
This year we got Team Red Shirt. Go ahead and click on that link if you're on my viewing there.
Same thing. There's Team Red Shirts as well. Link right there. So in my chat, if you guys can't give him a sub, sharing the love, my friends. Sharing the love.
And I would love to get a group of us together to do some Blundercats stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The AC-20 Thundercat or Catapult. As many of them as we can get into a group. I think that would be a lot of fun. They're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's something in the future. That's my next video plan. I just want to get a group together so we can do that.
Okay. Sounds good. I have no
going for some. Never mind. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, anyway, so also I know I'm going to take about like a half an hour break. I don't know about you, Bob, but I know Bob was planning on doing a stream. I know I'll be doing it with them as well. Probably doing some live streams too. Random pug drops probably, right?
No, for my stream though, I'm trying to get people for some footage for my next video, and it's based off of cops. So I need K9s and St. I Bloobs.
Do you plan on doing the stream with that, or is that going to be a private viewing?
That's the stream, basically, and then later on, I'll do some, pug drops, basically, with you. But like,
excellent.
Just kind of like just so people get an idea, like what we go through. As far as YouTubers go, okay, you need to move 2 spaces to the right, turn left, type thing. Just for people to check out. That's all. And plus, I need help with the video.
As always. Well, I know I'll be back in about a half an hour. I'll help you with that live stream, and
cool.
I'll be back then.
Same here, guys, and I'll sign it off, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.
Thanks for watching.